in the span of 3 months, I finished around 130 courses.
Oh my.
All the things that I am supposed to do in the span of 4 years, I did it in just 1 year.
Oh.
So, in fact, I ended up studying around 16 hours a day on cloud.
Oh my God. This is a lot.
You should work hard on developing your skills. You should work smart on finding the opportunities.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Tech with Mukul Code. Today we are going to basically discuss about the complete scenario behind cloud, what exactly cloud is, what kind of jobs does cloud engineers do, how many jobs are there, cloud engineer, infrastructure engineer, DevOps engineer, and all those things. How to get into those positions? Does a fresher can apply there or not? What kind of courses do we have to do? What kind of certifications do we have to do? Obviously, I'm not an expert in cloud. So today we have someone very special, someone expert in cloud. In fact, his name is the Cloud Pilot. You can search it on internet, YouTube, and Medium, and there are multiple places like where he exists. And I honestly got to know about him like last year, 1 year back, when I saw some great videos from him on Google Cloud platform. So yeah, today we have Udesh. He's also known as the Cloud Pilot. I'll leave it here. There are a lot of things that he can include in his introduction. I'll leave him for him. Yeah, let's start with your introduction of this.
Hey Mughal, hey everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me first of all. So for people who don't know me, my name is 𝐾𝐚𝐲 and I'm working as a cloud infrastructure engineer with a Google Cloud Premier partner. And I'm a 2021 graduate and I have been into the cloud domain for around like the past 2 years. So I am literally a product of the COVID lockdown. So, it was during the lockdowns when I actually started knowing about cloud. When I was in college, I have only heard about cloud, but I never really, I was kind of lazy. I'll be honest with you. I was totally a lazy person who would, just chill out in college, not studying anything, just for, scoring some marks in exams and just moving on. But I was also interested in, extracurricular activities. So I was part of, basketball, cricket. And then, I used to participate in hackathons because I had fun there. So it's not just purely on a competition side. I had fun learning, meeting with people, improving my network. So I was kind of a chill guy until my 4th year when I actually had the realization that I was not going to reach anywhere if I was, continuing like that. So during the lockdown, I didn't really have anything to do. And I was also, going through some struggles on my personal life. So I wanted to have a diversion. So I took up some online courses. But by that time, my college was adamant that we should do 2 courses at least on Coursera, where they provided us the emails and credentials for us to do. So it's kind of like a college program. And then, I wasn't initially not interested. I wasn't interested to, join the program or do anything. But when I started doing that, I just thought for the sake of doing it, I'll just do two and I'll just, go back to wasting my time again scrolling through Instagram. So after that, once I started doing courses, it got me interesting. So in that period of time, around for like 3 months, I was exploring the entire course, on Coursera. So when we talk about Coursera, it's like they have suggestions coming up once we finish the courses, right?
Yeah.
So at that point of time, it's like you watch one video or you finish a course, just like in the terms of YouTube, you watch one video, you get suggested and you are interested and you click on the next one. So
Yeah.
Coursera is similar to that on an academic level, or at least on a knowledge perspective. So you finish a course, you will see a suggestion, you go there. So I was the same. I just clicked on the next course, and in the span of 3 months, I finished around 130 courses,
Oh my
which
God.
I came to my college because they were keeping track of it. So in between, I found Google Cloud's course. But by then, Google had just introduced those courses on Coursera. So it was just 3 specialization tracks, the associate cloud engineer, the professional cloud architect, and the data engineer. So that
Understood.
was what was open to Indian student level, on a college level. And it wasn't, Google Cloud is something which is a bit hard to learn. And I started with. So now I feel like, everybody is, if you look at a general trend, most of the students at a graduate level are going to learn AWS because it's very easy to learn. But on the
Yeah.
same side, Google Cloud is not that easy to learn
Yes.
comparatively to
Exactly.
AWS. But I started with Google Cloud, so I felt everything to be easy. So if you look in another way, you will see that when we start with something hard, you will feel something to be easy when it is less hard,
Yeah.
right?
True.
When you lift 20 kgs and then you try to lift 10 kgs, it becomes more easy.
Yeah.
So it was the same principle. And then, I thought when learning cloud, I thought this was my domain. I was interested on each of the courses. The more courses I did, the more interested I was in doing those and in finding those. So I thought maybe I'll choose this as my career. Then I did my background study, the research. All the things that I am supposed to do in the span of 4 years, I did it in just 1 year.
Oh.
So that's the amount of effort I've put. In fact, I ended up studying around 16 hours a day on cloud.
Oh my God. This is a lot.
That amount of effort I had to put because I, compensated, I compromised the first 3 years and I had to
Yes.
compensate for that in the fourth year because
Yeah.
I was not going to reach anywhere. This
Yes.
is why the organic learning is so important.
Yeah.
And I try to, advise or suggest everybody, whoever, whether they're in school, whether they're in college, it's the amount of effort that you put that brings the result. And it's not it's skills, but the amount of effort is what ripes your skills.
Yeah.
For an example, we are participating in a 100-meter race.
Yes.
And we might be the best one in school, but when we go to the next level, we might fail.
Yeah.
And that we will, we kind of think that they won because they are faster than us.
Yes.
But when they were born, they weren't as fast as they are now. They
Exactly.
practiced. Their efforts was put. So
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
same. So it's the same principle that applies everywhere, according to my
Yeah.
perspective. The more you work hard and smart. So there are two differences, at least according to my classification. When you think, you should work hard on developing your skills, you should work smart on finding the opportunities.
Yeah.
That's
That's
the
true.
combination.
That's like a
So when you,
really nice thing that
yeah,
I have seen till now. And adding to that, I have seen one more principle which says if you spend 10,000 hours to something, you'll become a master in that particular domain or whatever it is. It can be swimming, it can be anything. And it basically means they don't talk about like how you have to smart, how you have to take shortcuts and all those things. Just put in your efforts, like put in this much of hours, you'll be able to do great. And from the first 1,000 hours, you'll be able to see great results. And I have seen people like losing hope within 3 to 4 days or 1 month, and they said, "Hey, it's too difficult. He's doing really great," but they don't know how that person have struggled, right? In your scenario, you spent 3 years like chilling out and all those things, but the last year was your year, right? Where you spend every single day, every single hour of that to learning your skills, and that made you a cloud engineer, that made you an infrastructure engineer, right? So people don't understand this kind of thing. They'll see, yeah, he was a friend of mine, he didn't study and he's getting a great job, he's working at a great company and all those things. So plus one to your story. Yeah.
Yeah. So, then I started, doing more things on cloud while I was still on college. So by October in 2020, I appeared for my associate cloud engineering certification. And I think around 3 or 4 students had that at that point of time all
Oh
around
my
the
God.
world. So,
That's
I was the early people to get certified on that.
Yeah, these
And
are the certifications, like these are the certifications which really matter. because they are
Yep.
just not certificates. They are something in which you spend your time, and at the end we get a result. Like you have
Yeah.
done something, and people run for those certificates who they get on by clicking on Udemy.
Yeah. So there's a difference between that. I'll come to that later.
Sure.
So yeah, then I appeared for my professional cloud architect certification, and I was among the youngest in the world to get certified on that, because nobody has, kind of attempted that before. That might
Yeah.
have changed, but I'm not sure. But at that point of time, back in 2021, early 2021, I was the youngest person. So then I wanted to, apply these knowledge. I have certifications, I have, gained the knowledge, but I haven't applied that yet. So you can say you know something,
Hmm.
and you can show them that you know that by doing it.
Ah. Yeah.
So for example, let's say you are booking a cab, or you have a car,
Okay.
and you don't know to drive, and you
Hmm.
want somebody to drive. You have two of your friends.
Hmm.
One person is telling you he knows how to drive a car,
Hmm.
and the second person already sat in the driving seat and he drove in front of you. Who will
Yeah.
you choose?
The person who's driving right now. Yeah. The person who has
Because,
basically showed the skills.
yeah, this is the same thing that every company wants.
Yeah.
They don't want people to say that, they know
Yeah.
this. They want results. They want to see what you have done.
Yeah.
This is why practical hands-on experience is important. And this is why projects are
Are
being built while
important.
this is the importance of projects. You show them, if you are very skilled in any particular tool, and you have these wonderful projects that you have built, you show them to your company, to any company that's hiring.
Yeah.
They will not let you go. If they really need you, they will not let you go.
Yeah.
So this is what, I had to apply, because I can tell any company that I know Google Cloud, but
Yeah.
it's up to them to believe it or not. But if I show them I did this project, I was the architect, I was the project lead, I designed the architecture, I implemented the infrastructure, that's a whole
Hmm.
different story
Yes.
than telling I know Google Cloud, because that work itself explains what I know.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So I did my project, and Deloitte reached out to me. They reached out to me while I was in college for a Google Cloud consultant role. And, I proceeded with the interview, and I landed an offer there. So
Oh,
that was how I started my career. Even before I graduated, I started working. And
that's really nice.
yeah, yeah. So,
And
I
that
mean,
too,
classes
like,
were over.
yeah, and that too with Deloitte, not like
Yeah.
a another like company which we haven't heard of. It's like Deloitte is like one of the best companies. They have great engineers, they have great architects, they have great associates as well. So starting a career with Deloitte, where Deloitte has approached you, it basically meant you have done a lot of things till now and you're doing great.
Yeah. And the interesting fact was I was working on a multi-million-dollar project, and I was
Oh,
leading the tracks. So it was interesting, but, you know, finance is tricky in those companies, the pay, the compensation, and it was too low. I would say half, they were paying me half money than my what I was expecting.
ah,
And, things like those happen because
yeah,
when there multiple people coming in, and when you work for a company who has a huge established background, sometimes they don't care. So I wasn't really happy, because I also had, my work wasn't really aligned to my expectations, so I wanted to switch. So I was finding, for new opportunities, and then, I found out a role which was, hiring on LinkedIn profile. So a recruiter from my current company reached out, and it was like I reached out to him. I saw a hiring post, which was asking for like 3 years of experience, 4 years of experience, and he was hiring. So I thought maybe, I should not leave it like that. So I
Hmm.
reached out. I told them I've done these and I
Hmm.
would like to apply.
Hmm.
So, like any recruiter, he was initially skeptical because I just came out from the college.
Yeah.
It's cloud, and they want somebody who can do hands-on work.
Yeah.
So he was skeptical, but he thought he'll give a chance to me.
Hmm.
So he said, "I'll give a chance to you, and let's see how the technical interview goes." And the technical interview was there. It went very well. They wanted to have me. The managerial round, it was even better. They wanted to have me. So it was like the effort that I've taken for the past whole year was paid off.
Yeah.
And I landed my current job as a cloud infrastructure engineer with a Google Cloud Premier partner. So they're a Google Cloud's premier partner. And I got to start working on the day one itself on a wonderful project. So, it's since that day I've been enjoying my day, all my work, life, everything. Every day has been so fun.
Yeah, that's really nice to hear. I don't hear this kind of stuff a lot. When I talk to people, they're like, I'm working at this company and this have this, blah, blah, blah. I'm working at this company and blah, all those kind of things. But no one takes care of like what the work they're exactly doing. Are they happy with the work they're doing? Are they making any impact? How much is their work-life balance? They just talk about those perks. Hey, I got a bag, I got a laptop from my company, and all
Yeah.
those things, which these things are generic, right? But having a good mental health is, I feel, important after your like physical health, and then your job and all those things comes in. So it's nice to hear that. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. Because, what I think is more people are like, I want to work in X company
yeah,
because there are a lot of people working there and it's like their
yeah,
living their dream life. But what they should do is find Y company where they can live this dream life,
yes,
their dream life. My dream life is my definition of dream life is not the same as your definition.
yes,
What I consider my dream to be a dream life for me is not the same as yours.
yes,
It could be more, it could be less, or
yes.
it could be same. So we need to identify which company can provide that. I'm very happy right now because I enjoy working every day. I enjoy talking with colleagues in my company. I enjoy, it's like I wake up happy and I'm happy to open the laptop and work.
Ah, nice,
I enjoy my weekends and I enjoy my weekdays. So
nice, nice.
that's because when you take your work as a passion, when you try to find fun in your
Hmm.
work, your life becomes so easy.
Yeah. Udesh, like it's been quite an interesting journey, right? From where you started, from where you came, and what work are you doing? I believe whoever is watching till now, they're quite excited about cloud infrastructure and all those things. And I'm damn sure people are going to reach out to you. If you still don't know Udesh, just search the cloud pilot on YouTube, on LinkedIn, you'll be able to search him everywhere. So let's talk about like how should someone start a career in this? Let's talk about the basic thing first. What does it mean? What does cloud mean to you? For me, it's like a blue sky. For someone else, it can be whoever using it. A very lame answer was mine. But yeah, let's
Yeah.
understand what cloud means to an infrastructure engineer. Like, how can you explain to a normal person? And then we'll see how to build a career in cloud. Like, what kind should we do certification? Should we not do? And how to start with that? Yeah, let's start with the first thing. What is cloud for a person who's in college and about to graduate?
Okay. So about cloud, let's first talk about how companies are operating.
Yeah.
You know, when you want to host an application, even as a student,
Hmm.
when you want to host an application, what do? You try to find some online hosting platforms,
Yes.
right? You go to, some I forgot the names.
GitHub pages, Heroku, multiple pages are there.
Yeah, Heroku. Yeah. Even we did the same in colleges. When we want to host a website, where do we host it? We don't have anything.
Yeah.
So we find a platform. So initially the companies had, when they have their applications, they need to be hosted somewhere.
Yes.
And how are these applications hosted? It's hosted on a machine.
Yeah.
You create, for example, you're creating a website or an application, and the application's code is on your laptop. Now you can access it. That's
Yes.
local host. But how do external people access it? They need access to your laptop's IP address.
Yes.
So we can't open your laptop's IP to the common people.
Yes.
So you need a dedicated server for that. So it's like you have your machine, you have your application code. So the code is hosted on the machine.
Yes.
And you want to add traffic to it. So you add it to the internet, you open up the traffic to the internet, and people can access the machine.
Yeah.
Now, where is this machine coming from? It's yours. You bought it. You purchased.
Yes. Yes.
You have your machines, you have your networks, anything related to networks, the wiring cables, everything, routers. You have everything.
Yes.
And you have a place to store. So you need to have some space where you can put these physical things. So for companies, this is what is called a data center. So there they have all their virtual machines, their machines, their physical hardwares, their networks, routers, everything. And they need a massive space for that. It's not like they can store it in one single room. It's like a vast area.
Yes.
So they need to have a vast area. They need to build a secure building. They need to, take care of the cooling. They need to take care of the heat transmissions. They need to do the regular maintenance, lot of things. So first thing is buying a space, buying a property for building it. Second is building that, infrastructure for that, for storing these. Then you have to buy the machines. Then you have to buy, all the equipments. Then you have to hire people to manage it for the maintenance. So this is a huge cost, which is capital expenditure, which means before you start, you have to spend these money.
Yes.
And then comes the operational cost, the cost which you incur during when you start the operations. This is kind of too big when it comes to enterprise level, because it's not in thousands, it's in lakhs or crores. Like not lakhs of crores, or maybe crores or thousands. So that's a huge amount of money, and some companies can't really afford to have it.
Yeah.
Or imagine a startup, if they don't have 5 lakhs to host their own data server or their own data center, what do? They need to rely on somebody who's providing it.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
that is what is meant by cloud. So somebody is providing these physical resources for you virtually. So you use your own laptop or PCs to build the infrastructure virtually, which is allocated physically somewhere in the world, which you mentioned. And then you use those resources from the comfort of your place. So this is cloud.
Got it. So basically, there is my assumption was wrong. The cloud is different. There is something else. There are actual machines. There are actual very big data centers maintained by big tech companies. Or there are a lot of companies who provide cloud services, and we basically pay them to use their system, use their machines, and they have to take care of all of these things. If their server goes down, they are responsible for it. They have to provide everything to us, but there's a catch. To use that machine, you should be knowledgeable enough to like run it. It's not like you have a mouse, you will go to that machine, you will click on your application and it's gonna run. So those things, like, let's talk about that part now. How to do that, how to learn those things, and how should, like, what kind of certifications are there to like start your journey to use cloud. Now we know about cloud. Let's see how can we use it.
Yeah. So starting cloud, we came from the data centers. So that's the basic concept. That's the foundation.
Yes.
How is networking done? How do these machines, these physical machines boot up? For example, when we open our laptop, how does it, switch on? What is the process behind it? How are we using it? What is the operating system? What is the storage? So the same concept we need to learn for the. So it's like it can be divided into three main segments: compute, storage, and network. And the fourth can be security. But
Okay.
that's again, these three are the foundations. You
Yes.
need to see how computing it works, how the operating system is loaded, how the machine is performing for each, let's say how a 8 GB RAM works, how a 60 GB RAM works. It's totally different. It's the architecture. And then we come to storage. How is data stored? What are the different type of disk? Persistent disk, HDDs, SDDs, hard drive, things like those on storage. And then comes the networking, internal network, external network, two networks connected together, network peering. So these are the basic concepts that we need to learn. And then the security, how the firewalls, or how do we stop an IP from accessing our application or our machine? How do we stop the attacks? So that's the security part. So four of these basically. So we need to learn all these things as a concept. So that's what I mean by learning the foundations of cloud. So once we start learning, all these concepts, we are good with the foundations of cloud. We're still not, we're still not at a good level to have a hands-on experience, because this is the concept upon which these cloud services are built.
Yeah.
So we need to learn these first, and then we move to the cloud solution provider. We move to any cloud provider like Google Cloud, Azure, AWS, Oracle's, or OCI, Alibaba Cloud, lot of stuff. So for a beginner, choose one cloud once you learn the foundations of cloud. And that, again, choosing what cloud can depend. It can vary according to your wish. You want to start easy, you can start with AWS. You want to start with the best one, you can use Google Cloud. You want to, move with Azure or Windows, then you can, go with Azure. And it's basically the research. Are you looking for a job? Are you looking to be an expert in a domain? Are you looking for a quick job? Are you, do you want to be an expert in a niche domain? Say data, data security or databases. It depends on what your vision is. So you can look into that and then decide which cloud solution provider. There are a lot of startups hiring for AWS. There are a lot of migration going on from AWS to Google Cloud. Then there are a lot of projects happening on Azure. So you can decide. That's basically your homework. You need to figure. You need to talk to people. That's the only way you can identify that. Talk to people. Know what is the trend going on right now. Find the trend. Find your expectation. See where the trend goes and see how your expectations come across the trend. Find that common point. That's the point where your life becomes easy. If the trend is going on one way and your expectation is the other, it's not going to meet. Where you will find happiness is the place where both of these meet. Because the trend is going so well, your life will be easy. And since your expectations are being met, you will be happy. So on both sides, it's a win-win. So it should intersect. And you need to find that intersection point. So once we learn these, we need to put these into hands-on.
Okay.
So, do projects. It can be any, for cloud, there are tons of roles. Cloud engineer, cloud architect, database engineer, data engineer, security engineer, network engineer, DevOps engineer, operations engineer, cloud developer, lot of roles. And most of these are specific. Data engineer is focused on data. Security engineer is focused on security. Network engineer is focused on networking. These are focused, but on the basic level, it's cloud engineer or cloud developer. So cloud engineer basically means you can be an infrastructure engineer or an operations engineer. And which is somewhat similar to the operations engineer is somewhat similar to DevOps. You can be a developer, you can be an operations, or you can be both by being a DevOps. And then there is SRE, who is actually a DevOps engineer who knows coding.
Oh, site reliability engineer.
Yep. So site reliability engineering is a developer who can, is a DevOps engineer who can also take the role of a developer. Like, for example, there is some issue with the code, and the DevOps engineer is unable to do this. That's where the SRE comes in, because the DevOps engineer will be an expert in Linux and other, operational level stuffs. But he might be lacking some information about the coding part. So he might not understand the whole thing, if any errors have been occurring in the code. So the site reliability engineer will be able to identify that because he also knows coding. So that's the difference between a DevOps and an SRE. It's almost similar, but it's not the same.
Understood.
So there are these, different roles. So you have to basically identify whether you want to be a developer or an infrastructure engineer. So infrastructure is where you build the infrastructure for these applications to be hosted on. And that is done differently than the application development. So that's like two sides of a coin. You are both doing development, but on two different sides. One, you're creating an application. The other, you are creating an infrastructure for the application. So you can learn infrastructure as a code tools like Terraform, Pulumi, Ansible, Chef, Puppet. These tools can be learned, and these can be applied if you want to be an infrastructure engineer. The application developer is similar to the SDE, Python, Java, C++, any coding languages with the knowledge of these cloud services. So that's how the two different paths on a basic level. Once you become an infrastructure engineer, you will have the basic identification or the basic knowledge of where you want to go. You can go to databases. Being a developer also, you can go to databases.
Yes.
You can go to machine learning, specific fields, or you can be a network engineer. If you're an infrastructure engineer, you know how the infrastructure works. So you already have the knowledge of networking. So you can either, be an expert on that. You can go to security, a lot of options or opportunities open up. For the certifications, again, these matter. The path that you're choosing. If you want to be an infrastructure engineer, go for the foundational level certifications. So if you're a beginner in cloud, you have just started learning cloud, about a cloud service provider, you can choose the most basic. For Google Cloud, it's Cloud Digital Leader. For Azure, it's Azure Fundamentals. For AWS, it's AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner, CCP. So once you're done with that, you try to get some hands-on experience and you go for the next certification, the associate level. Again, Microsoft has some associate certifications. Google Cloud has associate cloud engineer. Again, AWS has SysOps and developer associates. And then once you build these projects, and then once you have the experience with the hands-on, then that's where you go for the professional ones. When you are focused on a job, you go for a developer, cloud developer, professional, or cloud DevOps engineer, cloud security engineer, cloud network engineer, cloud architect. That's all on the professional level when you want to, fix your track or the path of your career, and then you go for that. So it's very important that you do the hands-on, because these certifications are not course certifications. You don't, like go around a course and then you get these certificates. That's course certificates. That doesn't really bring any value. These are certifications. You're putting your experience, your hands-on knowledge. These are situation-based questions. What would you do when X situation occurs? What is the Y service that you should choose, and what is the action needs to be taken? So that comes only with hands-on experience. And this is what is being tested by the certifications by the cloud providers. And since it's given by the cloud providers, it's its own its value.
Yeah.
So really important.
Understood. Okay, I guess there was a lot of things, a lot of knowledge in this discussion. To be very honest, I didn't expected a lot of this stuff over here, but I personally got to learn about multiple positions, what's the difference between SRE, DevOps, what a developer is doing, how DevOps and operational people are doing, and a lot of stuff, right? So I believe it's gonna be very beneficial for a ton of people who are watching this. So if you want to go to that side, cloud side, we have covered everything for you thanks to the cloud pilot. Talking about if you want to become a full stack developer, then obviously Newton School have got your back. You can go to their website, go to the description there. The first link is going to take you onto the Newton School website. There are a ton of great stuff over there. Great mentors. People are getting great jobs, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 20 lakh jobs in different big tech companies. So if you haven't checked out Newton School, go check it out right now. And again, thank you so much, Udesh. Thank you so much, the Cloud Pilot, for your precious time.
Thank you so much for having me as well.